Hello, welcome to class number 4 with Miss Starr. And this week we are talking about the emotion of love. So, handy dandy, I have these heart shaped glasses, all about love here. And I'm wearing a lot of pink, which people often resemble with love, right? Like Valentine's Day and the hearts, red and pink hearts. So, I try to wear as much red and pink today as possible. And today, we are actually working on writing songs and poems because whenever I think of love, the art form that most comes to mind for me is making music or writing poetry. And you've probably heard of people writing like to their lovers, the romantic love interest, a poem, a beautiful song. And while you can do it for those people, you can also do it for like your parents, your siblings, your friends, even for yourself. It doesn't have to just be romantic. Love takes on all sorts of forms, shapes, and sizes, and you can develop strong love with anyone in your life, even your pets, of course. So, I'm just going to briefly outline information about songs and then poems in case you don't know anything. I have a little bit of sheet music here, so I'm assuming you've seen music notes and things like that. Most people have, but if you haven't, you could always pause this and go Google it. Otherwise, I wanted to explain the basic structure of a song because when you listen, sometimes you get caught up. Some people, I would say most people just get caught up in the feeling and the vibe of it, but there's some people that only listen to the words. I find there's different people that focus on different things when they listen to songs, and sometimes that changes too. Like, I don't know, based on the message of the song, the words and whatnot. Like, do you ever catch yourself singing and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that it was talking about that, or it was giving this message, right? Like, you just naturally sing along and you don't really think about the words sometimes. Other people, they really pay attention to the words every time. So, basically, how songs are built, it's kind of like a sandwich. And when you think of the sandwich, like there's bread on either side. Everything else can vary. Everyone makes their sandwiches differently. But like if you picture, maybe somebody puts like turkey slice on the bottom and then a cheese slice and then lettuce and another cheese slice and then another turkey slice and then an onion or tomato and then the bread. So like some things repeat and some things are different. That's kind of like a song. And so the first part of a song is always the verse. And there are many verses usually in a song, and they usually change. Kind of like a chapter in a book. How each chapter is the same concept, where it's about the same length. It's telling a part of this story, but it's always going to be different. There might be a similar theme or metaphor within two chapters, but they're going to be different. So that's a verse. And then you might have a pre-chorus sometimes. This builds up the momentum and the energy into the chorus, which is the main part. This is like the heart of the song, the meat of the sandwich, the most important part. This is often the catchiest part. Like if you catch yourself just singing a tune of a song, you're probably singing the chorus. So that's a good way to remember it. After the chorus, there might come another verse, and then you might go back to the chorus, and then there might be a bridge. They call it a bridge because this is usually later in the song, and it offers a new perspective. And I think to think of bridges as, you know, you're driving on one road, and then there's a lake, river, or another busy road, and this bridge goes over it, right? So in order to keep going on the path, you have to cross just a little bit of a different section of the road to get to the other. It's offering you a new perspective, a new little segue. Yeah? So then after the bridge is usually the chorus. Usually you end on the chorus. That's like the big finale, the big bang. I wonder if some songs end on another verse though. The fun part about music is you can always change it and be creative. Like this is the general structure, but you'll notice people that are creative are making music, so they'll often have just different ideas or ways of doing things. So you can change, but that's generally how it works. And then, okay, so I wrote all this down, which you can see here. It says lyrics, melody, rhythm, and repetition. So these are basically key terms to know when you're making a song. So the lyrics are the words. The melody is the tune, which is like da 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 da. The rhythm is the beat, which is how fast it goes. Da 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 da. Could be really fast, like da 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 da. And so of course if you're making dance music, you're gonna make it faster so people like dance and have high energy. If it's a really sad melodic song, it'll be slower. Da 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 da. And then repetition, that's what I talked about with the chorus, the heart of the song, which usually repeats the same way. And that's what you sing in the shower or when you're just walking down the street. And that's because it's memorable. People want, when you write a song, you want it to be memorable so people continue to sing your song. They want to come back to it and keep listening to it. And that's kind of the magic to it, how it makes it special. So now we're going to segue over to poems. And poems are like a handshake to a song. They're similar, but they're different. And I almost think if you learn how to write poems, it makes songwriting easier. Some people might be the opposite, but that's my personal opinion. I'm going to give you 5 different types of common poems, okay? So there's a free verse. This is where you do whatever you want. You write anything you want in this poem. Usually it'll have a lot of feelings or imagery, but you don't have to rhyme if you don't want to. You don't have to do any rule following. Second type of poem is a rhyming poem. This is probably what you think of. And so there's different ways of doing it. Like you can see how I said A, A, B, B, A, B, A, B, A, 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 A. So if you think of A as one sentence with a certain rhyming word, and then B is a sentence with a different rhyming word, like doesn't rhyme at all, that'd make it different, right? But like an A phrase has the last word that continues to rhyme. So it'd be like car, far, tar. Those are all A rhyming words. Then if you go B, like dog, smog, fog, those are different rhyming words. So if you have the pattern of A, A, B, B, this is an example. Love is bright, it feels so right. It helps me grow, it lets me know. If you were to switch off, it might be love is bright, it helps me grow, it feels so right, it lets me know. So you can either keep rhyming in patterns in bulk and switch off, or you can go back and forth every other. Or you could have every single line rhyming. So it could be like, love is bright, it feels so right, it's in my sight, I cannot feel fright. Yeah? And this, honestly, I think it makes it more magical. When you rhyme, it feels storybook, magical feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. You know what I mean? Number 3 for poems is an acrostic poem. And this means if the topic is love, we might write love, L-O-V-E, just straight down. And then we're going to start each new line of the poem starting with that letter. So it could be just one word, or it could be a phrase. So it could be like loving, opening, very fun, emotions. That spells love down. You can make it longer, like loving to be myself, opening up my heart, very fun, feeling it all. Emotions are wacky. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Number 4 is a haiku. This is a specific pattern. It's probably the most difficult because it's very specific rules. So in the first line, it's 5 syllables. Second line, 7 syllables. Third line, 5 syllables. That's it. You could repeat that, so you could have these 3 lines and then make a new section of the same rule structure. I don't have an example for you. I did not feel like doing that. If you want to do it, go look up examples on Google. It's just more effort. I'm just too lazy right now. Number 5 is a repetition poem. So this could go, love is loud, love is quiet, love gives hugs, love gives sorries, love is bold, love is scared, love is amazing, love is caring. You're just kind of repeating that same structure. It doesn't have to rhyme. So now that you've learned about songs and poems, we're gonna write a song. So fun. Let's get a page out, paper and pencil. Of course, you could use a phone or tablet computer to type it, but if you have pen and paper, I want you to grab that because this makes it a little better. I want you to think of one of the 5 poem structures that you liked the best, and we're going to first focus on that. I personally love rhyming, so I'm going to start with the rhyming one. Feel free to go in your own direction if you feel confident, but I'm going to do this. First, I want you to pick a topic, and I want it to be something you love, okay? So what do I love? I'm going to write down first 5 things that I love so I can get a little bit of a strategy going here. So I love dolls. Like dolls you play with, you know, like Barbie doll, American Girl doll. There's even, I think there's some dolls on here. Yeah. It's like a fairy girl, kind of like a doll. Speaking of that, I love mermaids and fairies. I love the ocean. I love trees. And I love New York City. It's funny because when people ask me about that, I usually either say I love New York City or I really don't like New York City. So it's kind of funny I just read that, but we're going to go with it. I just had another idea. Okay. I encourage you to take the 5 things you love and combine them into one song. So this, I think, you know what we're making? We're making a song about how much we love ourselves and expressing to the world who we are. Okay? So, if you were to write a song about you, what would you call it? Maybe you know right now and you're going to write it down as the title of the song. Maybe you have an idea and you're unsure. You could write it down. Maybe you are completely blank up here and you're like, Miss Starr, I have no idea. That's fine. You'll probably realize at the very end of writing the song what it should be called, so you can wait. For now, I'm just going to write Ocean Girl. That's coming to me. That's all that's coming to me. We're going to see if that fits at the end. I don't know yet. Okay, so now you got to decide how you want to start your song. And I should preface this by saying some people like to start their song by literally writing the first line of the song and going down through the whole thing. That is not common though. Many people will write the chorus first, the heart of the song, and they'll come back and write one of the verses and maybe another verse and then maybe a bridge and then pre-chorus. You know, they'll kind of jump around. So how do you figure that out? That's a great question. I always write songs and music when I'm outside, so that's why I'm sitting outside right now on the patio. I usually write them when I connect to my heart a little bit easier. So how do you connect to your heart? You can just feel your heart if you want. You could do a little doodle. You could do a little dance. You could, again, think about these things that you love more in depth. Hug a friend. Whatever your heart desires. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm going to actually name this song? I think I'm going to name it Ocean Heart. Because I do want to focus on the heart in this song. We're going to incorporate love and heart into all these things I love because they're intertwined. Duh. I'm feeling like I'm going to just start by taking the poem that has number 5 that I talked about, which is called Hold on. What's it called? Repetition poem. Yep. How are we gonna start this? One option I'm thinking of is I could write, she is magic, she is fierce, she is bold, she is... I'm trying to think of a word that rhymes with fierce. It's not coming to me. But I'm gonna start with that. I'm just gonna write this. So, she is bold. She is soft. She is magic. She is... Okay, I wrote soft. I would have soft, loft, moft, noft. I could also rhyme with bold, cold, cold. She is cold. People have told me I'm cold. She is cold. And remember, you can always change it. Like, sometimes you just write a bunch of things and you change it later. She is sparkly. She is... See, and when you can't come up with an idea, just look around you. Like, what objects are around you? What words are around you? Sometimes I like having my notebooks and random words that I can reference. Ooh, I could write, she is a star. Yeah. So I wrote, she is bold, she is soft, she is magic, she is cold, she is fierce, she is a star. That needs a lot of work, but it's a good start, okay? So I'm just gonna leave that for now. We're gonna come back to that part. Now, I'm gonna try to write something catchy with rhymes. There's different ways that I notice people write lyrics. Some people write them very straightforward, where they almost tell a story and they're like, she walked to her car, it wasn't very far, she saw a bright light, it blinded her sight, you know? Other people will write in metaphors. And honestly, the whole thing I just sang, it could have also been a metaphor, right? But like, that sounds kind of like a story of someone experiencing something in real life. So then I could, let's see, something metaphorical. Stars in her eyes lit up the skies, the heavens below saw that she glowed. You know, you're singing, you're hearing that, and you're like, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm actually gonna write that down, I don't mind it. Stars in her eyes lit up the skies, heavens below saw her bright glow. And that's the other part. When you're trying to figure out the song, I recommend that you have something recording. So there's the recording app on your phone. You can just hit record and have it going for the whole time, because sometimes you'll sing something or say something and you'll completely forget after you sang it out loud, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good, I love that. Well, if you have the recording, you can reference back and then go, oh yeah, perfect, we're gonna write it down. So now that I have this part, which is sounding kind of maybe like the chorus or maybe a pre-chorus, I'm gonna keep going with this vibe. So what did I write down? I love dolls, trees, New York City, ocean, mermaids, and fairies. I did just talk about the skies and a bright glow, and that kind of makes me think of New York City and fairies, because fairies are sparkly and the New York City is like towering skyscrapers in the sky. So I'm gonna say, the big scary city wasn't very pretty. Until she saw a fairy? Okay, so stars in her eyes Shoot, that's the other part. I forgot how like I was singing it before, and now I can't remember. Oh, I remember. The stars in her eyes lit up the skies. The heavens below saw her bright glow. The big scary city, it wasn't very pretty. Mermaids stole the show. What rhymes with show? Flow. I like flow. Okay, how can we do like mermaids stole the show? Fairies were all in flow. I think that could be better, but fairies dancing in flow. Maybe. All right, so the stars in her eyes lit up the skies. The heavens below saw her bright glow. The big scary city wasn't very pretty. Mermaids stole the show. Fairies dancing all aglow. I do like the flow, but I kind of like all aglow better. I could use flow. Like if I wanted to repeat this section, like if this was the chorus, the heart of the song, and I wanted to repeat it, of course, because the chorus repeats, I could just change out one or two words. Sometimes singers, artists will do that, where they basically have the same chorus. They'll just exchange and flip out a couple of words or like one phrase. And that makes it a little bit different each time, but still similar. So hopefully you have a few things written down, or you like have inspiration right now and you can pause it and try to write your own. I am gonna try to write one more little section, and then I'm gonna just let you guys go and have fun with it. I will say it'll probably be really difficult if it's your first time doing this. Like, give yourself grace. I've been doing this for only like a year now, I would say, but I do it all the time, so I've gotten a lot better at it. And I remember at first I would just kind of be walking and I'd write, or I'd have like a little jingle come into my head and I would test out different words. Sometimes it would come naturally, sometimes not. It's taken me a while to write entire songs, because sometimes too you're like, oh my gosh, I have this idea for the chorus, but I don't know how to make a verse that matches the same vibe, and how do I make it transition smoothly? It's a lot to think about, but just keep practicing and you will get it. Sure. Maybe I'll try a free verse, which means there's no rules and no rhyming, just imagery and visuals and feelings. I also am going to try one more thing with the rhyming poem, because I did an A-B-B structure, and I kind of want to try an A-B-A-B structure. So we're going to do free verse and A-B-A-B verse. Or maybe it'll end up being chorus, we'll see. Or pre-chorus. So with free verse, again, this is no rules. So it's just, I'm trying to feel it, imagine it. Maybe this is gonna be the ocean now. Deep diving, I like deep diving. Into my dollhouse, whoa, I did not expect that. Sometimes you just say things and you're like, oh my gosh, that's genius and weird and awesome. Deep diving into my dollhouse. Tsunami waves. This feels a little scarier. Tsunami waves encapsulate. Do you know that word? That's a big word. Encapsulate. That means to cover, to engulf, to consume. All right, deep diving into my dollhouse. Tsunami waves encapsulate. Wind gusts, or maybe like trees distance themselves. Whoa. And now what? One more. Or maybe two more lines. Deep diving into my dollhouse, tsunami waves encapsulate, trees distance themselves. I feel far away from everything. My mind is racing. Heart no longer trusts. See, I really wanted to rhyme that, like my heart is racing, but I'm trying not to. I'm gonna write, this is a plan like no other. Deep diving into my dollhouse, tsunami waves encapsulate, trees distance themselves. I feel far away from everything. My mind is racing, heart no longer trusts. This is a plan like no other. Wow, that was fun. Okay. Now we're gonna go with AB verse. Have I ever written about trees yet? I don't think so. Oh, I did. Trees distance themselves. I think I've covered all my 5 topics, but I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss any. The only thing I didn't specifically reference New York City, I just said the big scary city. But I called it Big Scary City. I haven't talked about how much I love it. So I'm going to try to do that here. All right. Falling into thrill and excitement. Whoa, that's going to be a hard word to rhyme. Excitement. I might have to change that. Whatever. Falling into thrill and excitement. I finally found my home. This wasn't exactly how I planned it. So that's interesting because excitement and planned it, you wouldn't traditionally say they rhyme, but they sound like they rhyme in the context of this song. You get it? So you can be creative with it. It's ending with that same t, et, planned et, excitement. So it works. So falling into thrill and excitement, I finally found my new home. This wasn't exactly how I planned it. Home, roam, foam, shown kind of works. It's an N, not an M. Finally found my new home. This wasn't exactly how I planned it. You know what? I'm going to switch this up. I'm going to say my heart found a new home. I'm going to rewrite this other verse. So it says, I finally found how I shone. I kind of want to write, because it's like shining. I want to, falling into thrill and excitement. Performance Abbey opened up and shone. Home, roam. Maybe I'll do roam. Falling into thrill and excitement. I finally found how I roam. Yeah, let's do that. This wasn't exactly how I planned it. My heart found a new home. Yay! Alrighty. So I have 4 sections written out. I have technically 5, but I don't love what I wrote at first, which is she is bold, she is soft, she is magic, she is cold, she is fierce, she is a star. So now I'm going to try to rework that to fit into all these other verses that I really love. And that's actually, I'm realizing that's kind of perfect because sometimes you just have to start writing random stuff. You're not in the flow, but just starting gets you into the flow, and then you're in the flow and you come back to the very beginning and you fix that to match the flow that you were just in. Yeah. So what am I going to do with this first part? I'm going to write, she is fierce, she is a star, she is magic. She's gonna go far. See, I love rhyming, so I think a biggest problem with that originally was it had no rhyming. And of course the free verse I wrote doesn't, but I needed a little rhyming. And I might double this, so I wrote, she is fierce, she is a star, she is magic, she's gonna go far. I'm gonna write, the girl is, I was gonna write hot, and then the girl is cold, but I don't wanna do hot, I wanna do something else. The girl is ice. I'm gonna write ice. I love ice. The girl is ice. The girl is swift. Girl is bold. She's gonna go quick. Does that rhyme with swift? It's a little stretch, but I'll take it. So now I'm done, and then you can kind of work on rearranging it and modifying it now because I'm really close to being done. It's just a little bit of a mess on the page. So this is usually when I'll go and type it up on the computer and just edit and organize everything. I also, after writing now, I'm gonna go back to the title and edit it a little bit more. So I wrote Ocean Heart. I kind of wanna write City Lights or City Light. Yeah, maybe lights. City lights and an ocean heart. That sounds like me. I love the city lights and I love the ocean heart, like the heart and soul. Then the busting excitement of the city and the opportunity and the minds that people have and the drive. And then when you go to the ocean, you're like relaxing and it's so nice and peaceful and people are just friendly and chill. It's definitely a different vibe. The other part of songwriting, this is the last thing I'll say. After you're done, you might be surprised. You probably noticed when I was writing this, there were parts that surprised me. That's because your heart is literally speaking to you. It's spilling out onto the page when you write poetry and songs. So it's going to be communicating to you in words what you've been feeling and you haven't had the words to express. So that's why it's surprising, because you're like, really? Like, that's what I love? That's who I am? That's what I wanted to say to the world? I didn't even know. And that's part of the magic. That's part of the beauty of it. So do not fight it. Do not resist what your heart wants to say. This does not mean you have to share it with the world. If it's really, really dark, scary, sad, whatever emotion it is, know that it's beautiful. And I honor that, and I think it's so amazing that you're able to put that into words and to appreciate it, but you don't have to share it with anyone. You can keep it to yourself. Even if it's a super happy poem, even if it's an overflowing love joy poem, you can just keep it to yourself. You don't have to share it. That's for you to decide. And some people do share their dark poems, their dark music with the world, and my hope is that if you do that, it's so that you can relate to people. You can say, hey, this darkness was inside of me. Can you relate? And that person might say, wow, yes, I can. And then you have a shared common bond and you can love each other through it, lift each other up, be a friend to them. And that's beautiful. If you're sharing dark art because you want to spread darkness and promote darkness and evil and sadness, like, I would just really, really consider why you're doing this, because the world is, I think it has enough darkness as it is. So if you can shine your light and spread more love and joy, that's beautiful. And that's what I try to do. You can do what you want to do, but I would just, have those thoughts in your mind before you share anything with the world, because what you share and give out often comes back to you. We are all connected. We are all human beings living life connected together. So it impacts everyone and everything every time you do something. So that, I love you, and thanks for writing songs with me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.